So we've just got two old strings on here. We've just temporarily installed two of our tuners and just a temporary nut, just to show where things are. And we've got our 25.5-inch scale length marked here, and we're just using it to move side to side here, just to make sure our strings are going to be aligned. And we've got things perfectly centered on this end, and we're bang on our 25.5-inch scale length. And just looking down the neck, the strings are going to sit absolutely perfectly there. So with that in place, we can just double check we're holding everything on the lines we're supposed to, and we can just mark out our holes here for where our bridge is going to mount. So just a brief little close-up here. We've just got our bridge, we're just checking our alignment, and whatever, we've got our 25.5-inch scale length marked here, which matches up where our saddles are, and we've got the front of the bridge marked out to make sure everything is parallel or perpendicular, whatever word I'm supposed to be using there. And just with that in place, as I said, we have our holes marked already, and that's all perfectly on center at the moment. So we'll go ahead and drill those out now. So we've just put our scratch plate in place. Just making sure everything lines up and that it's going to fit around our bridge and our neck pocket okay, and it looks absolutely fine. So we're just going to mark out a couple of the holes here just to get us started, and then once we're sure everything is all in place exactly where we want it, then we can go back and drill and screw all the other holes into place. So we're just doing a first couple here just to give us some fixing points. So that's our scratch plate, bridge and output jack fitted now, and as we said, we've temporarily put on some tuners and we checked our string alignment as well. So we're pretty much done on most of the woodwork inside now. So what we'll do next is, I think we've said it before already, we'll strip this down, we'll strip the neck down, give them a final sand and get them ready to begin finishing. So we're just getting ready to do our final sanding on the body. So we're just starting off with 120 grit here, and we're going to go over all the body. We're going to do the neck as well, and then we'll just move our way up to the grits and just get it all completely nice and smooth the way we want. So sanding is the most boring thing in the world to do. It's the most boring thing in the world to watch, so we're just going to skip over it and we'll bring you back after all the sanding has been done. I'm just going to be doing this and this and this for a long time, and it's completely boring, so we'll bring you back after it's all done. So we've gone through various grits now, sanding up the body, and we've just given it a rub down with some white spirit, and we do that for two reasons. One, it pulls a lot of the dust out of the grain and that, and secondly, it helps highlight any scratches or any little dents or dings we may have missed with the earlier grits. So we've done that to the whole body now, and it's not looking too bad. We still have a few little marks and bumps we have to go back to that have been highlighted by the white spirit. So we'll just go back to our 120 again, and we'll just keep going through the various grits until we get the body completely smooth and sanded the way we want, and then we'll move on. So we've got our body and neck here ready to put on our first coat of primer, and then we've got our air filtration going. We've got several heaters on the go to warm up the air around the area, just to make sure we get some proper adhesion with the paint. And we're just using some standard surface primer here just to do our first couple of coats. And the reason we have our heater on and why we're leaving the can close to the heater for a few minutes is just to warm up the paint slightly so it sprays a little better. And we're warming up the air in the area around it as well, because sometimes as you go to spray, if the air is too cold, the paint will actually start to dry before it hits the body, and you end up with a horrible effect and you'll never get a decent finish. So as I said, just going to press on here now. I'm going to get my mask on that and make sure we've got plenty of moving air in the area and that, and we'll get on and start to spray our first coats of primer here. So we're just setting up here to do our colour coats, and so we've got our little spray booth here set up with the neck in it at the moment, and we've got our paint, and we've got some heaters here that push out some warm air, so we'll be switching all that on now in a few minutes, putting on our PPE, giving the paint a good shake, and we'll start to spray on our first colour coats, so we'll bring you back just as we start our spraying. So we've got our neck and body completely painted now, and they're ready to get their clear coat. And the clear coat that we're going to be using is this two-part catalyzed lacquer. And so basically we've got a can within a can. So we pull this pin and twist it, and it breaks a smaller little canister inside, and then the two chemicals mix, and that gives us their clear coat. So we're going to crack the bottom of this can now. We'll give it a good shake, and then we'll start to apply our clear coats. So we'll just press on ahead with that now. So we're just getting ready for our final assembly now, and we've got our body, our neck all done, all our painting done. We've added our decal to our headstock. We've got all our parts here, our pre-wired pickguard, our tuners, bridge, all the other various bits and pieces we're going to need. So we're just getting ready to do all the final assembly now and get the instrument together. And we haven't buffed down, I'll just try and get it in the light there if you can see the orange peel and stuff here. We haven't buffed down the body completely yet, because this is a pre-wired pickguard, and you know, it's just generic parts. We're going to be taking this pickguard on and off hundreds of times now over the next couple of weeks when we try various different pickups and electronic configurations. So we're not going to final buff the body yet, and we'll do that at a later date. So we're just going to get the whole thing assembled now and just get it up and running as an instrument, and we'll come back, as we said, to do all our final bits maybe at a later date. So the first thing we're going to start off with is the body, and we're going to get our pickguard fitted. So everything pretty much just falls into place, and we've got our ground wire running here that's going to be attached to the bridge there. So we need to get our output jack wires ran through, and then just get the whole thing sitting down and make sure none of the wires are getting caught up or bunched anywhere. So we'll just push our two output jack wires through. And now we're just going to wire our output jack into place. So we're just tinning up the connections. Just tinning up the wires. And we'll get those connected up now. And we can just secure that into position now. And now we can just do a quick test on the electronics, just using our little Vox desktop amp here. So neck pickup working, middle working, bridge working, in between position working. The volume is working. Tone control. And a tone control. So all our electronics are working now. So we can move on from here. So next up we're going to secure our bridge in place, and we're just leaving that little bit of paper underneath it just to make sure nothing gets scratched at the moment. And we'll just start off our screws just by hand, just to make sure everything is going where it should. And then we'll just send those screws home, and that'll be our bridge in place. So we're just on our neck now, and we're just securing in our tuners here. So it just starts off with a screw in at the back here. And then we just tighten up the washer and the ferrule on top. Just going slightly beyond hand tight, that's all. Nothing too extreme. So we've just glued our nut in place, and we're just securing down our truss rod cover now. And now we're just drilling out for our strap button there. So we're just screwing our neck in place now, and so once we have that done, then we'll be able to put some strings on her and see what it's like. So we're going to bring you back in a couple of minutes after we've put the strings on and after the instrument is fully finished, and we'll show you the final product then. So just taking you through the instrument from the top here, we've got our black locking tuners, some roller string trees, got our Gibson style truss rod cover and nut. Unusual arrangement for a Strat, but it seems to be okay, it seems to be working out just fine. We've got our Brenco headstock decal there, and we've got our maple neck and maple fretboard, our black dot inlays and Stumax cryo wire fret wire. We've also got our black accent piece all along the neck, which seems to look quite nice, I think. On our body, it's a poplar body. We've got our black preloaded scratch plate, black bridge, all black controlled, black output jack, etc. And everything seems to work just fine on it at the moment. Just briefly just show you the back. Said we've got our black string ferrules here that I much prefer to the whole neck bolt and neck plate system. We've got our black locking tuners there, and we've got our stinger on the back of the headstock as well. So as we said, this is the instrument all finished up now, and that's her all done.